soon. We have some people leaving in a little while, so there should be some rooms open very soon. Sorry, I'm a bit frazzled. Things have been a little crazy around here lately. Not just last night, though last night was crazy. The whole season has gotten a little out of hand, it feels like. I don't know if you've heard that Emperor Augustus has sent out a decree. He wants a census done to get everybody in town and across the land. It's a nice way, really, of higher taxation, of saying higher taxation. It'd be nice if those taxes stayed in town, but man, they go to Rome. So I'm sorry, I get a little upset about it sometimes. But if I'm honest, it's actually been quite nice in a way, this census. People have been returning to Bethlehem. Friends of mine I haven't seen in a long, long time. They have to come back to be registered. It's good to see them. And if I'm honest, things have been quite good for business. I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. My name's Simon. I run the inn here in town. Best board in Bethlehem. That's what I say. Anyways. So yes, there will be some rooms opening up a little later. For free. It's been good for business, this census. I've been filling the rooms as much as possible, getting people in every room that I have. I've been putting them, stacking them head to toe. And, well, you've got to get while the getting's good. I mean, there have been some lean times here in Bethlehem, and, well, things are good right now. I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to get as many people in those rooms as possible, you included, if I can. But, you just have to take care of your family, take care of your businesses. I mean, what more can you ask for? I mean, last night, saying how crazy last night was, I had all the rooms filled, and I mean, you've got to get while the getting's good, but sometimes you have to know when to say when, and it got to that when moment. I had to say when, as just every room was filled, and as soon as I said when, I mean, was that knock. And you know that knock. It's the one you don't want to hear. I mean, I knew who was going to be on the other side of that door. And I had said when. There was no more room. So I went to the door. And just as I thought, it was a poor couple. I recognized the man. We didn't know each other when we were young. I just recognized him. His name was Joseph. He looked different. His hands of a carpenter, rough. And there was what I assumed was his wife. I forget her name now. Her name was Mary. And the moonlight hit her in such a way that she was on a donkey. And she shifted, and you could see she was with child. I'd said when. There was no more room. I found myself somewhat getting angry somehow that I needed to host these people, that I had to make room for them. Well, I saw they had a donkey. So I said, look, I have a stable out back. You can take your donkey there, and you can sleep with the donkey. I suspected this would have made Joseph angry. I expected him to say, no way, we'll go find other accommodations and be free of it. But no, he said, thank you. His carpenter hand touching my shoulder, and he just said, thank you. I gave his pregnant wife a stable to sleep in. And he said, thank you. Anyways, I tried to clear my conscience of it. I just had to let it go. I mean, during the night, I don't sleep a lot, if my frazzled behavior and coffee shows. I use that time to make bread or to prepare for the morning for our guests. I like to think we run a good operation here, this bed and breakfast. I've heard of your Asheville nearby. We think we do something quite similar. It's good. So I was in the middle of making bread, and I heard a ruckus in the stable. And I knew it. I knew they were going to try to take something. I mean, after all, I put them in a barn instead of in a room. And so I ran. I ran toward the stable. But then there was another noise. Caught my ear, and for my tracks. It was the sound of a baby crying. Somehow, my legs moved me toward the stable, and there I was in the doorway. I was looking into the barn, and there was the usual fare, our modest livestock. We have one cow. We serve milk to the guests if we can. And there was 2 goats and their donkey, and but my eyes, they fell on Joseph and Mary. There was Joseph cradling Mary, and he was humming something to her. I couldn't make it out, but she was weeping. And they weren't tears of sorrow. She had joy caught in the corners of her mouth. She was smiling. And she was weeping. Then I looked down, and there was a baby in the feed trough, in the manger. Joseph had taken off his outer garment and wrapped it around this child. He was sitting in the manger. Well, I must have been holding my breath because I gasped, and I startled everyone, animals included, child, Joseph and Mary. They looked at me, and I just began saying sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It just kept pouring out of me. First I was saying sorry for disturbing them, and then sorry that you had to be in this barn. But then it was as if I was saying sorry for everything I'd ever done. I don't expect you to understand, but there I was, and just pouring myself out. They were just looking back at me with these smiles. It was as if the forgiveness had already come. And then Mary, this was just crazy. She stood up, she went to her child, she held him, and she started walking toward me. She said, "Would you like to hold him?" And I said, "Me? You want me? I put you in a barn. You want me to hold your child?" She said, "Yes. He'll make all things new." Well, she handed me the child, and I was holding him. And I don't know how to explain it except for it undid me. I don't know if that makes sense, but holding this child, it undid me. I was no longer thinking about getting as much as I could from my patrons or thinking about Caesar Augustus knows. It's me and the child. He was staring at me back at him. And then somewhere,